Hope it's a different story.
Embarrassed by such a thing, and it was up to Ernie Merrick. It has been up to Ernie Merrick in the half-time break to chasten his troops and line them up and get them playing according to their own mantra, which, as I keep saying, I think has been good this year without the results, and certainly the last two weekends have been very exciting, the Newcastle performances, but that was missing in action completely in the first 45. Ivan Kolev, the coach of Jakarta, will be very buoyant with the way that his team rode out the storm as best they could and had those chances for themselves.
We saw both managers there, and both of them with two very different reactions to the start of this first half. Ernie Merrick screaming at his side, and Ivan Kolev just calmly on his haunches. We're so proud of the first 45 minutes from PERSIJA Jakarta. And Moss hooks this one over the sideline. So good against Wellington on Thursday. He's had a little bit of work to do already tonight in goals. Shimmick will come off the hand, but too much force from Nikolai Topor-Stanley.
It's not an impressive sequence restart in the second half. Glenn Moss kicks the ball directly out. No pressure. Nikolai Topor-Stanley lumbers into the back of Simic to concede the free kick.
It doesn't seem as though they have heeded the half-time message from Ernie Merrick. Sofyan curling it in, and Topor-Stanley got his head to it. Can't prevent it, crossing the line for a corner kick.
That had dangerous flight. You thought off the boot, but the Jakarta players gave up on that one, it seemed to me. Sofyan curling it nicely. Topor-Stanley did well, really, without knowing that there wasn't a Jakarta player bearing down from his blind side. He did well to head that one away.
He's terrific on the set pieces, Sofyan. 53 matches for the Indonesian national side. 3 goals. The last of which was in 2010. This one had drilled in. And Ugarkovic, I think, has just put it out for a throw in the end, or will it be a corner? Well, according to Asimov, it's crossed the goal line, and Simon Yuntak deliver this one with a little more height. We just lost a little bit of footing there. You can see a bit of a divot. This one he hits higher. Shimmick a bit of work to do. Sofyan, the legs. Little swivel from Mr. Luhu. And now called in by Sofyan. Well taken by Glenn Moss, who looks to release Dimi Petratos. Let the ball catch up with him. Now powers the ball to Kane Shepherd, who hooks Roy O'Donovan into the action now. As Vargas in the middle, O'Donovan, here is Ronnie Vargas! 2 goals in 6 days for Ronnie. His first match in the Asian Champions League brings his first goal, and it's relief for the home side.
Well, this is beautiful from Dimi Petratos. It did take a while to secure the ball. It was bouncing around, but it's a great penetrating pass. That's superb, that from Shepherd. That is 100% awareness of what's around. O'Donovan responds in kind, and for the moment you thought, given everything that Newcastle have dished up so far, that Ronnie Vargas is going to lose his balance from 3 yards out and miss the chance, but not so. The Venezuelan scores, eases Newcastle's nerves, and tellingly makes a beeline for Labinot Haliti in the technical area to congratulate and say thank you.
And doesn't he know a thing or two about the AFC Champions League? Labinot Haliti winning the title with Western Sydney Wanderers back in 2014. Coaching the Jets youth side at the moment with Tomo. Sofyan. All of a sudden, PERSIJA will have to chase a goal if they are to stay in the AFC Champions League. Simon Yuntak. Kicks wide to Sochipto. Had a chance in the first half. Ricocheted up to Johnny Katrumbis' chest. The question is, will things open up here for Newcastle now? With the visitors having to throw a little bit of caution for wind here.
Well, this is an example of why and how Newcastle was so effective last year, because there was automation to their play. There wasn't players second guessing what might be on. It was 100% awareness, as I said. It was that last late stutter in the end because of the deflection. But that's when Newcastle are at their best, when they just hit the auto button and players play immediately what they see.
And here they go again. Vargas's ball was low and Petratos was making the run, but Manny Saputra was in the way. And there is a whistle against the goal scorer. It was the Brazilian-born Indonesian, Beto Gonçalves, who played his first international for Indonesia last year. Played 6 all up and scored 3 goals, so an instant impact for him. His wife is Indonesian. Sofyan, the outside of the boot. Simonyunta, easily away from Shepherd, squares it across the face. And it fell for Sochipto. He will get back on the ball here, the substitute. Came on in the 40th minute, Tony Sochipto. And in the end, it will be a corner.
Yeah, the deflection off Jimmy Petratos. He thought he had him beat. A lucky deflection for Jakarta. Their corners have been a test for Newcastle.
So it's Sandy on the corner duties this time, giving Moss a little bit of work to do with the punch. So Chipto knocks it into the path of Sandy. Again, Kantarowski with a header away. And now Ronnie Vargas wins the ball. Little neat chip. And Jimmy Petratos has got plenty of real estate ahead of him. Tried to play it in front of Roy O'Donovan, but Ismet Sofyan, the 39-year-old, in the way. Petratos is not going anywhere. Ugarkovic in front of Katrumbis, who rolled it. Balls for Kantarowski. Katrumbis. Now Ugarkovic to Nigel Bogart. Kantarowski, the only man out there who played in the Jets' last Asian Champions League match back in 2009. It wasn't a happy night against Pohang. Here's Katrumbis. Back to Roy O'Donovan, and it was Ryuichi Utomo.
That was the wrong option, however. Again, it was a good through ball. Newcastle starting to find some consistent form. Katrumbis with a good overlap, but the cutback was for Ugarkovic. Not for the square ball across the edge of the 6-yard box.
Kratos, it was Saputra with the header away. Fell for Katrumbis, attempted on the volley, and he's been taken down. The ball has ended up in the goal. And it will be a free kick to Newcastle.
Well, that's staggering. Why you wouldn't allow an advantage to play there. I mean, the ball has ended up in the penalty area with a Newcastle player who can line up and score. Isn't that the very virtue of the advantage rule?
I thought so. So first yellow card of the evening, Ramdani Lestaluhu. He's in his second start. Second stint, I should say, with PERSIJA Jakarta. He was there from 2007 to 2012 and now back since 2014. So a real veteran of the club. And now Dimi Petratos looking to size up this set piece. I mentioned before, no goals in the AFC Champions League. He did score 7, play 7 games in the AFC Cup and scored 4 goals. There he is, Dimi, and again, not locked on to goal. Knotted it down. So Chipto was barreled to ground.
This pass from Dimi Petratos was something, but just about Kane Shepherd and why he's doing so well as an A-League player. There's probably a little bit limited speed across the ground, no limitations in speed between the ears. Fabulous anticipation. He took the picture with the ball on the way. He knew exactly where the runners were and where the ball needed to be hit. A good goal for Ronnie Vargas, but a super contribution from Kane Shepherd.
So Georgievski did a couple of tumbles. Sofyan breaking forward and curling it. Simenyuntak fires it in. And Gonçalves forced to do too much work there. Scored at the back post with a header from a ball from Simenyuntak last week. So Gonçalves, he's been in Southeast Asia since 2008 and he scored 58 goals in 92 matches in the last 3 seasons.
He also, according to my very rudimentary mathematics, has accumulated a club CV totaling 22 in his playing career. It's decent.
That is very impressive. We see Newcastle fans appealing for a yellow card here. One of the Persija players has kicked or thrown the ball away. I didn't see it precisely. And as is Asimov, the Uzbek referee. He's going to go over and have a chat to Abdurrahman. No card. Top ball Stanley. It's out Petratos. Shifting the ball onto the right. He went perilously close to crossing the byline. This ball just hanging up in the night sky beyond Shepherd. And Simenyuntak failing to keep that ball inside.
Well, I think error there, not from Simenyuntak. He was desperately trying to keep the ball in, but it could have easily gone out for a goal kick.
Georgievski, Shepherd, Petratos.
Almost as many shots tonight for Dimi Petratos as Alberto Gonçalves has got clubs next to his name. One of which I should suggest is the delightfully named the House of Billiards out of Suriname. Where'd you go?
I do know there's a club in the world called Bangkok Glass FC. I thought that's one of my favourites as well as Petratos. Tried to feed it to Shepherd.
It was too good to be true, wasn't it, for Dimi? A ball picked up like that with 2 Newcastle players in his line of sight, but adjust and realise that they were both offside.
Bogart looks up and sees the former Croatian youth player. Scored some goals at Croatian youth level as well. And Marko Šimić. Bogart. Georgievski chipping towards Vargas and O'Donovan. Neither can profit from the ball. Simenyuntak pirouetting again. It's just dazzling to watch on the ball. Here he is again. Look at this, holding off Georgievski and winning the foul in the end. 3 league goals for him last year, 9 assists. back on the ball again. Sofia. Duraman. On Saldes. Shimmick. Again the boos from the home crowd. Picked up by Katrumbis. Final half an hour now in Newcastle. Topo Stanley. Georgievski got into a bit of a pickle. And this man was blocking his options, Sandy. So Chipto. Now taking them on is Gonçalves. Moss smartly down to his right. And the man born in Brazil, what a chance.
Well, he's got enough goals next to his name for Newcastle not to allow him such uncontested passage right through the centre of the field to that shooting opportunity.
Nigel Bogart actually red-carded in his last ACL match for Adelaide United back in 2012. Kratos inking it. Ugarkovic connecting at the back post. He just reefed it across goal beyond Ronnie Vargas. Sofyan. He clattered into Petratos. Went down in a screaming heap. I think Petratos was just acting roadblock there. Conjure up here. Not much. Straight into the path of Georgievski. Shepherd. Now to Vargas. The Jets attempting to move the ball quickly again. Vargas dropped it back to Kantarovski, and they just lost that bit of energy they had and speed moving forward.
That's a great read, Ben, because I think Daniel Georgievski decided not to really go for it in the first instance. When Vargas was looking to play the ball wide, it was a rather sluggish effort by Daniel Georgievski to join the attack, and he read it perfectly thereafter.
Now Shimmick angling his run, shoulder to shoulder with Kantarovski. He's been public enemy number one tonight in Newcastle.
But he is a handful. He's such a big man.
Another chance here for PERSIJA. Shimmick. Shimmying from left to right. And you get the right boot free. Simon Yuntak just offside. Probably the first error he's made tonight.
Well, he set it up. It's a tight one, but he is offside. It's a good call. Their best player tonight, I think by some distance, Simon Yuntak. Very, very dangerous customer, and delightful reminder that it's not the size of the dog in the fight that counts. He is very, very difficult to contain, and completely belies his diminutive stature.
And just 27 years of age as well. Kane Shepherd just thwarted there by Ryuji Utomo. Trying to pump up his side. So excited for this match yesterday in the press conference. Jimmy Petratos. Hasn't been his night tonight. Picks it up towards Bogart at the back post. Katrumbis. The more the less said about that strike, the better. From Johnny. Scored a goal in a bit over a year now.
Well, he never shaped up and looked like he had the technique to deal with that at any point, Johnny Katrumbis.
Neat back heel from Simon Yuntak, and Lester Luhu was reading it well, as was Ben Kandarovski for Newcastle. And Glenn Moss pumps it over the sideline. Šimić. He was crunched in there by Nikolai Topor-Stanley and Kane Shepherd. He's slow to get to his feet. Now the skipper. Trombus. The line to Petratos. He's run infield, finds Roy O'Donovan, who is offside for the 4th time.
Another siding ball from Dimi Petratos, and it's another good call from the assistant. It's a tight one, but moot point anyway because of the air swing from O'Donovan.
As you can see, 5 offsides for the Jets. Roy's been involved in a lot of them. Vargas. No one out there on that far flank. Dimi Petratos had cut into the middle. It was vacant pastures. Marko Šimić just given a little bit back to the crowd there because they roared over on that far side. Plenty going back and forth. Here's Utomo. And look at this from Andratani. A little bit of skill from the goalkeeper of the year in the Indonesian League for the last 2 seasons. Sucipto. Looks up. Spreaded the ball to Gonçalves. Katrombis was there. Vargas. Look at this space in the midfield. Here is Rico. Up he hangs it, and Gonçalves was rushing through at the back post, and Topor-Stanley, he's been mighty tonight, was there again.
Well, touch of the Renier Gitas without the wig, or the rug, of course. Beautiful composure. The bad touch either. Flamboyant from Andratani.
Captain of PERSIJA JAKARTA. Conceded just 60 goals in the last 68 domestic matches. So less than a goal a game. Terrific goalkeeper and a terrific defence as well. Can they get themselves back into it? Moss with a little bit of a juggle there. Rolls it into the path of Daniel Georgievski, and he just tells him, go for a run. It looks as though we are going to get our second change of the night for PERSIJA JAKARTA. Novri Setiawa replacing Beto Gonçalves. He was one of the main men for PERSIJA last season. 30 matches. 26 starts in their victorious campaign. Topor-Stanley. He's hanging it up there for Kane Shepherd.
Well, the clock ticks over 70 minutes. The Jets with the goals lead, and there was some pretty good mail then for PERSIJA JAKARTA. Their pre-match meal was a bucket of KFC, which means the sports science minded out there, it's a great opportunity for Newcastle to overrun the visitors tonight. And I say that with a straight face. That's the very, very good mark. The 4 o'clock pre-match dinner for PERSIJA JAKARTA was a bucket of KFC. Let's see if the Jets can turn it into an advantage.
But inside the final 20, and the crowd trying to inspire the Newcastle Jets. The Australian side attempting to make it through to round 3, the preliminary round 3 of the AFC Champions League, where they will face Kashima Antlers in Japan next Tuesday. Simic. This one threaded up the line by Chipto. Simic in decent goal scoring form. 11 goals in his last 8 matches. Now the outside of the boot. Rico Simanjuntak picks out Lester Luhu. Little deflection. Corner kick.
Good chance again. And it's all created by Simanjuntak. And Daniel Georgieski thought he had him. He was about to swamp him on the edge of the centre circle. And before he knew it, Simanjuntak had spun on a dime and dribbled away and passed the ball and created some havoc for Newcastle to defend. And now the corner comes as a result.
This one hangs up, and it was the header from Simic. And if it wasn't for Ben Kantorowski, Glenn Moss would have had a mighty job to do.
Well, that corner's driven in. That's an outstanding head.
Simanjuntak in again. Has it crossed the line? It has. And they've got the equaliser. And it is Ramdani Lester Luhu. That goal will mean a lot for those travelling fans. Salvation for PERSIJA JAKARTA.
Well, the last corner driven in, this one curled, and the Newcastle Jets just don't deal with it at all. It's a great header, the second consecutive such. Now this time the Newcastle defender on the line, Daniel Georgieski, cannot head the ball clear. And Newcastle only with themselves to blame. Inept defending. They've been warned countlessly from corner situations. And it's game on in Newcastle.
Two goals in his last 5 coming into this one, make it 3 and 6 for Ramdani Lester Luhu.
Well, it must have been the Zinger burger that went into those headers.
The pre-match meal has worked a treat, it seems. And Newcastle and PERSIJA locked up once again. A reminder, if we are level at 90 minutes, we go into extra time. Shepherd, Petratos was never going to get the purchase on the header. It's beyond his reach in the end.
Well, the corner came as a result of a very powerful header off the line, saving from Simic, but the resultant effort was just outstanding from Lester Luhu. And the sequence of corners been set up by Simanjuntak. A beautiful hit and spin on the centre circle, left Georgieski in his wake. The Jets have really struggled to contain Simanjuntak.
And there he is, the goal scorer, Ramdani Lester Luhu.
Well, I don't know. Player goes down with cramp, and people who have heard me say this before, it's fair enough. But why the game has to stop for so long? I mean, this player should be treated off the field, surely.
It's just cramp, it's a matter of fitness. And Danny Saputra is the man struggling. They've got one change left. PERSIJA JAKARTA. And just on Ramdani Lester Luhu, the man who scored the equaliser. He was discovered playing football by a former under-17 national coach of Indonesia. Thought he had plenty of talent, plenty to offer. The 27-year-old has delivered in spades tonight. Industrious in the midfield and a goal to boot. Petratos on De Vargas, who opened the scoring for Newcastle. O'Donovan with the back heel. Too heavy in the end.
Yeah, a little bit of magic from Roy O'Donovan. You You enjoy it when a player tries something different like that. A really nice try.
Clattering of bodies between Bogart and Shimmick before Stanley just carves it up the ground. As we see the Persija bench being summoned. We'll find out who the final substitution will be, because Danny Saputra is not in a good way. He's going to succumb to that cramp. Utomo. Semanjuntak combines with Sofyan. Here he is, the 39-year-old. Over 450 matches in Liga 1 in Indonesia. Adratani hoofs it long. Ugarkovic. With Trumbus. He had Suchipto coming at him, and Suchipto couldn't keep it inside. Newcastle once again. Going quickly. Kantarovski. Georgievski on the left and called in, and Ryuji Utomo defiant in defence. Vargas, little dink. O'Donovan was waiting. Never arrived though. And now they've turned it over. And the speed from Chetiawan. And the foul is there. Yes. Ronnie Vargas just couldn't resist.
And will be fortunate to get away without a yellow card there. A good turn of speed.
Fitrat Ridwan, the man who is headed out onto Newcastle Stadium to replace Danny Saputra. He started the win against Home United. Been at the club for a couple of seasons now. Hasn't found the back of the net for a couple of years either. Simanyuntak. Dinking it to Sofyan. And he craned his head, Chetiawan, at the near post. That was a near thing. Chetiawan scored last month in their Piala Indonesia clash with 757 Persija in an 8-2 win. O'Donovan to Tratos. Gets the left free. Well blocked by Abdurrahman. Here's O'Donovan. Well, this is incredible. Roy O'Donovan, the last two matches, he just can't seem to get a shot on target.
It's certainly not his night tonight. Roy missed that one inside the 6-yard box in the first half, and this just marginally outside the 6-yard box. He's just whacked it. High and wide.
So the goal scorer, Ronnie Vargas, makes way for Matt Redenton, who is substituted off at half-time against Wellington Phoenix on Thursday. He looks to add some steel to the midfield. Matt Redenton. Dimitra Tratos looks to have shifted into that number 10 role. Kantarovski and Petratos almost getting in each other's way there. Georgievski takes on a couple, beats a couple, including Sandy. And the goal scorer, Lester Luhu. Finds Sandy. Sofyan. Simanyuntak. Dizzy as a beaver and into his backside on this occasion. Well, at this point in time, you'd have to say he would be by far and away player of this match.
Yeah, he's been the outstanding player, there's no question. Not in my mind, at least. Others might have a different view, but he's just been a constant menace for the Jets.
So are we heading towards extra time? Less than 10 minutes to go in regulation in this preliminary round 2 AFC Champions League match between Newcastle Jets and PERSIJA Jakarta. Ronnie Vargas, the goal for Newcastle. And as was the case on Thursday night for the Jets, when Vargas opened the scoring, they conceded. And it was Ramdhani Lestaluhu who scored the goal for the visiting PERSIJA Jakarta side. Turned over by the Jets in the midfield. Up looks Simic. It's been a tough day for him, trying to end it on a high. Not the connecting ball he would have liked.
No, I would have just thought very quickly, do I shoot from this range? And I saw the distance. It dulled his enthusiasm.
So Angus Thurgate will get his chance now for Newcastle. All 12 matches in the Hyundai A-League have come off the bench. His first in the AFC Champions League also comes off the bench, the youngster, the 19-year-old. Grew up in Port Macquarie, left school at the start of year 12 because he wanted to pursue football as a career. Can he make himself a hero for the Jets tonight? He's a very, very hard worker. He won't let Ernie Merrick down. Georgievski onto O'Donovan. His flick took a little deflection, and Thurgate is good enough to win a corner kick.
Anticipated that well. O'Donovan controlling and knocking the ball blindly into the space, blindly from his body position. He knew that there was a teammate running, and that was Thurgate, who anticipated well.
Petratos goes Andratani. Knocked away, only as far as Georgievski. Well controlled by Petratos. Georgievski is in Petratos. Redenton will clean up the scraps, Willie. He has in the end, but Simon Yuntak is going to win his side a goal kick. There he is, 27 years of age. Dynamic winger. And you may have just seen before Ryuji Utomo, the centre-back, the passion from the number 4. His hometown is Jakarta. He actually won the Thai second division last year with PTT Rayong. He's back at PERSIJA, went on loan to Thailand last year, and he is loving it. He wants to do his home fans proud. And there probably isn't anything more special than playing for your home club. Georgievski, Petratos angled the ball, was brought to ground. Sandy the man to inflict the foul. Time running out for both sides now. The Indonesian champions against the side who were runners-up in last season's Australian A-League Grand Final. Tarowski went to ground but was able to recover. And Ugarkovic brought down, and well, for the Jets it was a good decision because otherwise PERSIJA Jakarta were away.
I think he's turned into trouble. He did cop an elbow on the chin, which is certainly unfortunate, but he turned into trouble and the referee bailed him out to a certain extent there.
Played a bit of his football in Croatia, Stevan Ugarkovic. And Sandy still down here, and they haven't got any changes left for PERSIJA Jakarta, unless we get to extra time, of course.
I cannot for the life of me understand why referee is just allowed not to get a stretcher on the medical team. It's cramp. Get him off. Time ticks away. Patience of Job, this ref.
I agree. I think you just pick them up and take them off. If it's a fitness issue, which it is, you can see the left calf of Sandy receiving some treatment, and the stretch has been brought out as well. It's not often you see the stretcher brought out in Australia.
Well, there's just another couple of minutes. We've had the pleasure of sitting down watching a bloke get his calf rubbed.
The question is, will it be added on? Because if you add on the minutes we've lost, you're probably looking at least 5. Kratos. Burgate was gliding through. Shimmick has the run of the substitute. Ridwan ahead of him. He's just taking on Jets left, right and centre. Still going Marco Shimmick. And he played the ball in to Shertiavan. And there was an offside, as you can hear the roars from the home crowd. He didn't hear the whistle, Marco Shimmick.
It was a barnstorming run, though. And a big breakaway for Jakarta. Newcastle players had all pushed forward for the set piece. He took matters into his own hands, feet, and honestly, that's a good cutback as well.
Georgievski. Jurovski. Look forward for Thurgate. It was Utomo who got to ground first. Kantarovski nods it on. Thurgate. He knew what he had to do. The quality not there in the end from the young man, and we've got another Persija player down. And time continues ticking.
Well, 1 out, 1 in for Jakarta. In fairness to Mr. Luhu, he was the player who fronted up to try and stop Ben Kantarovski and came off second best.
And you can see Sandy really struggling with cramp here. Now this ball dinked forward. O'Donovan's in on goal. Andratani made the save. Well, everyone was just having a bit of a kip there. What was going on?
Well,
and here we go. Roy O'Donovan is copping some abuse from the Persija players because they thought he should have played it back to the keeper instead of trying to score.
If you're going to play on, you've got to score. There's a feeling from the Jakarta players that he's broken convention. Roy O'Donovan's entitled to play on. I personally don't have a problem with players doing this. It's just not Roy O'Donovan's night, because even from in front, Dimi Petratos is kicking the ball back to the keeper.
That's what bemused me. Roy O'Donovan thought, here we go. And Andratani stood tall. And it would have stood too. I'll tell you what, there would have been drama as well if it had have counted for Newcastle. You can see the fans biting the fingernails, perplexed looks. Shimmick onto the head of Katrumbis. Lester Luhu, the goal scorer for Persija. And the birthday boy, Suchipto, it up the line to Shertiawan. 5 minutes of additional time. Plenty of time for both sides to snatch a late winner. Will an A-League side be heading out at this stage of the Champions League for a second consecutive season. Ernie Merrick, Clayton Zane with some thinking to do. Maybe in extra time. Thurgate used the body well, rolled it through. Petratos offside. It was a late flag.
Well, in fairness to the assistant, I think he was waiting to see if O'Donovan's going to take the play, because O'Donovan, I believe, came from an onside position. But Thurgate does well. Dimmy is offside. O'Donovan's clearly onside. And again, neither have the sufficient awareness to maximise the opportunity. Maybe Roy O'Donovan was going out in sympathy with Dimmy, having been offside so many times himself tonight.
Abdurrahman thumps it up the ground. A long ball. Simon Yuntak and Georgievski in a one-on-one duel here. And Simon Yuntak may have copped an arm across the face. Not according to referee Asimov. Turn from Sandy. Abdurrahman. So 3 minutes left in stoppage time. Minimum of 3 minutes. This one almost rolled by Nikolai Topor-Stanley in his 28th ACL match. Georgievski nodded down. Redenton, well, he doesn't score many goals. Snuffed out at the back by PERSIJA. Bogard this time. Long to Georgievski, first time. Aiming to pick out Thurgate. Now the strong Ben Kantarovski. Topor-Stanley. Redenton may have just brushed off his head and it took it away from Petratos. Katrumbas. Neat turn away from Shetiawan. And now Petratos with the pirouette and the free kick.
Well, time ticks away. The Jets have had their chances to seal this way earlier, but any American, the gathered fans here won't mind if they leave it this late, but finish the job. Cardos delivery from set pieces, not A1 quality tonight, but he's got, importantly, one chance to deliver something of substance.
And the Jets, they don't mind late shows in the ACL. You might remember a match from 2009 where they beat Beijing. They scored 2 goals in the last 5 minutes of that one. Petratos dinks it. Up rose Thurgate, falls for Redenton, who was barreled over. Appeals for a penalty. Unheeded by the Uzbek referee. Moss. Lester Luhu chimes in with Simon Yuntak. Kept it inside the line. Kantarovski couldn't do likewise.
Well, it's Simic on the end there to clear it. And there's a penalty in that. Redenton had lost control, the ball had gone, a player just standing his ground.
A Kiwi who's played in the OFC, the Oceania Football Confederation Champions League for Auckland City. He's on the bench for them back in 2013, but not in the ACL before tonight. Simon Yuntak. Terrific close control, and Sofyan plays that one straight to the front row. And that is the end of normal time here at Newcastle Stadium. And finally we had a goal at the start of this half. It was scored by Ronnie Vargas for the Newcastle Jets. But PERSIJA JAKARTA, they kept trying. And it was that man on screen, Ramdani Lestaluhu, who equalised for Ivan Kolev's side. That leaves us with Newcastle Jets 1, PERSIJA Jakarta 1 at full time. Extra time to come.
Benny, thank you. Superb stuff from the visiting side. You've got to pay homage to them. PERSIJA Jakarta. But Bruce Gita and Mark Bosnich will have a look at a couple of highlights while we're waiting for the start of the first extra period. And are the Jets the instigators of their own problems here?
Well, I think definitely they are. Let's not talk about the first half. Let's just go into the second half. Wonderful start with that goal by Vargas, and had plenty of chances to pretty put this beyond PERSIJA. But PERSIJA, you've got to be, like you said, you've got to pay them homage. They come back, and they come back very hard and create a lot of chances themselves, and I thought deservedly got an equaliser. But now it's anyone's game. We talked about the conditions before the match, Bruce, and that's going to be very important now because of how hot it is, and it's contributed obviously sometimes because it really was an entertaining game, because I think a lot of players were that tired it would become a little bit like basketball, up and down. But now that's going to be so important going into this extra half an hour.
Yeah, it definitely will be. I mean, look, I think Newcastle Jets will be extremely disappointed to be in these circumstances. You're in the middle of your A-League season, it's 34, 35 degrees. You've gone now into extra time on a Tuesday night when they've got to back up again on the Friday. But I think it's, you know, they've done it to themselves. They've had more than enough chances to win this game. But to reiterate what Boz was saying, well done to PERSIJA. You know, they dug in. They knew they were under the pump for long periods of that game, but they were able to nick a goal themselves. And even before they scored that goal,
there's a warning, wasn't there?
There was a warning from Simic's header, and we even called it behind the scenes here that you know they're good for a goal here.
Here are the goals. Beautiful work from Kane Shepherd. The blind pass to Roy O'Donovan. Boz, well taken in the end by
Shepherd. Was excellent all night. Great ball in and well taken, like you said, by Vargas. And look, you know, we spoke about the low block that PERSIJA employed in that first half. And we talked about ways of breaking it down. The other way that we talked about 5 or 6 ways is the double counter. If people are with me on that, is basically when you're attacking, they break on you, you get the ball back and break back them because all the defence is scrambled, and that's exactly what Newcastle did a couple of times. But here's that goal from Lester Luhu. Wonderful header, absolutely fantastic. And like Bruce said, they had a warning. Literally, I think it was 2 or 3 minutes earlier. And they've been having several warnings. I mean, Da Costa went through and produced a good save from Glenn Moss, but that goal was coming. And like I said, right now, it's an even bet of who's going to finish out on top.
Daniel Georgievski wants that moment back, I dare say, Brucey.
Yeah, you know, you put your defenders on the line there, you'd expect them to stop those balls going in. That's the whole reason why they're there. But look, it was a good header also. I mean, let's not take anything away from the goal scorer. A fantastic header there. And like I said, they deserve that goal. And I think the thing is, when you don't put these games to bed, these teams then start to get that oxygen. You actually feed them that oxygen. Like, hold on a second, these guys aren't all that crash up.
Roy O'Donovan nearly started an international incident, I think, between Australia and Indonesia,
well, yes.
and maybe with Ireland involved as well, with that play on with the drop ball.
Good save by Ardiasa, the PERSIJA goalkeeper, who's been excellent throughout all night. I just wanted to ask Bruce a quick question from your time over there. If it does happen to go to penalties, from a mental perspective, what are they like?
I think I think the Newcastle Jets have the edge on them in penalties. But in saying that, there's not much pressure on them here. I think when it gets to penalties, you know, they've played quite a good game. I wouldn't go to the Russian roulette of penalties. I would be willing to put it to bed if I was Newcastle.
Well, let's find out. Newcastle certainly up and ready long before the visitors, and that's probably fair enough given the trouble that they've had and the fact that they are officially out of season. That's the remarkable thing about this. They haven't played a league game since December 9. They played a couple of cup games, and they played
last week.
They played a last week game against Home United of Singapore, which they won away from home. But yeah, they're not exactly in peak condition in terms of the middle of the season. But you wouldn't know it. They've played oh so well in that second half. So we're almost ready for this first period of extra time. It's on a knife's edge. Newcastle's 2019 Asian Champions League campaign. Let's see what becomes of it. Get back to Andy Harper and Ben Homer.
Thank you, Adam. And interestingly, on that league season, PERSIJA Jakarta don't actually start the Liga 1, or the Liga 1 doesn't start this season until May because of the Indonesian election. Normally it gets underway in March, but it's such a big event in Indonesia that they have to delay the start of the season. So they're going to have a couple of months without football. And with Marco Šimić potentially having to stay in Australia until April with that court case. May not be a bad thing for them that it's starting a little later this season. But that's in the future. Right now, they've got a job to do against Nigel Bogart's Newcastle Jets. That will be the men from Indonesia. And that man, Marco Simic, who get us underway in the first period of extra time, half an hour to decide who goes through to round 3. And if we're still level, it'll be a penalty shootout, Andy Harper.
Yeah, well, Jakarta did a great job in that second half. The Jets should have been clear, but they've been slotty, certainly throughout the entirety of the first half, and on enough occasions in that second half, and still they should have been clear. But Jakarta hung in well. They've shown great grit. And Semenjunjak, they've had the best player on the field, and in Utamo, the defender, just a fantastic player who's done an amazing job. And the Jets find themselves in a situation they'd rather have avoided. But the way the Jakarta players were so evidently struggling physically, or some of them anyway, towards the latter stages of that second half.
There's Georgievski trying to free up the right boot. O'Donovan is offside again.
As extra time goes on, and Newcastle, if they put their foot to the floor, it's going to be hard to imagine the Jakarta players hanging on physically, and Roy O'Donovan only 3 metres offside on that occasion, I think. Easy one to call for the assistant.
Bogart puttering into Shetty-Awan. I was going to say then, Andy, did you have the trundle wheel out?
That's just a crude estimate. But the Jets don't want to be trundling in this extra time period. They want to keep their fate in their own hands.
Andratani just got under that one. A little bit of drift on the ball. Ugarkovic loops to Lester Luhu. The ball bounces back to Abdurrahman. Tiawa. Ugarkovic sliding in. Tony Sochipto with the throw, turns 33 today. They'd love to celebrate it with a win tonight. In extra time. On that occasion, Ridwan, the substitute, couldn't continue the attack for PERSIJA, who won their first league title since 2001 last season, and just their second since 1979. They are the most successful club, though, in Indonesia. It's been a barren run for them of late. Sofyan bouncing under Lester Luhu. Kantarovski. Now Bogart. With Denton. They clip it into the path of Stephen Ugarkovic. Topor Stanley on his bike. Bogart and Redenton had that good chance just at the end of normal time. O'Donovan slides it through. Took a deflection on the way.
Yeah, very close to an own goal. Redenton in the ball in, nice control from O'Donovan, picked the angle nicely.
Almost off Abdurrahman. Up to Tratos. This one directed towards the towering frame of Nigel Bogart, and Semenjunjak sees Daniel Georgievski, takes him on, and off goes Rico again. He's got the speed of Sertiawan making the run. Simanjuntak, Sertiawan got contact. It wasn't enough though. Will be a corner.
That's thrilling. This guy is thrilling. I mean, he's completely pantsed Daniel Georgescu here. It's not easy to do. Very experienced defender. He's just destroyed him. And then burnt the grass and then delivered a beautiful ball, and it could so easily be 2-1 for Jakarta.
Filled in, Glenn Moss will take that one every day of the week. And he only played his first match for the Indonesian national side last year. There we go, Simanjuntak. And here is O'Donovan. This time he is onside. Away from Sucipto. Fired it at the near post. Andratani quickly down to save the day for the visitors. It's end-to-end action at the moment. Simanjuntak playing a big part in that. Looked to his left, saw no one there, saw the space and said, I might just run over there. Sandy Utomo, who has inspired his side tonight. And Sofyan going strong at 39, still in extra time. With one more substitution up their sleeves, both sides, and Persija especially, they've made their three. Will we see the Indonesian legend Bambang Pamungkas, the 38-year-old striker? We'll wait and see what Ivan Kolev decides to do. Right now, it's up to Dimi Petratos and Matt Redenton. Offside, it's been a common theme for the Newcastle Jets tonight. It's been the thread running through this match for them.
And it's a correct call again, and it's silly from the Jets, really. It's just silliness. You can only put it down to the lack of focus and concentration ultimately. We're talking such fine margins. For the sake of the bare millimetres you're offside, you may as well focus and hang on and stay onside. And it's been, as you say, quite rightly, Ben, it's been a theme of the night for the Jets.
You saw on that stat, 8 offsides to 3 in favour of the Jets. O'Donovan just fires the ball into the back of Abdurrahman. Redenton looks up, space and time for Matt Redenton, and ran straight into a few Persija defenders. And we've got another man down for the visiting side. Kemayoran Tigers, the nickname of this Persija club. It is Simanjuntak, and he's copped one in the nose, I think. They never tickle.
Just the forearm of Dimi Petratos. There wasn't heavy contact, but take whatever break they can get at the moment. And the referee's not going to be in any rush to move them on. He's got form.
Here is their final change. Definitely it will be Septinus Alua. And off the bench 3 times last season for them. Limited appearances. Came off the bench against Home United. He's a stocky man, Septinus Alua. Low to the ground, very strong.
Likes his shorts in XXL as well.
By the looks of things. Look at that. Almost wearing long pants, Septinus Alua. And Sandy departs the scene. And Septinus has been with the club since 2017. Maybe Ivan Kolev just wanting someone to hold the ball up for PERSIJA. Garkovic, Kantarovski, Georgievski, linking up with Thurgay. His pass just didn't have the juice to find Georgievski. And Simonjuntak, up he looks. Garkovic came from behind and won the ball according to Aziz Asimov. Redenton into the path of O'Donovan. Great link-up play, Redenton! And Andratani to the rescue again.
Well, that was great football. It deserved a goal, but it was worthy of a great save. A good goalkeeper has had a great game, earned the right to save this. And as it all looked like for Redenton, it was going to be 2-1 for the Jets.
It's Kantarovski winning the ball. Bogard! You would not credit it. He just loves playing in the Asian Champions League. His third goal in 17 matches. And considering he scored 7 in over 200 A-League appearances, that's high scoring for Big Nigel.
Well, Kantarovski with the nod down. The skipper free on the back post. A corner into the sweet spot for the Jets finally. And the unmarked Bogard steers the ball to the far post. Elation and surely relief for the Jets.
And the home fans trying to lift the side now. His first goal in more than a year. Ernie Merrick reacts the way he usually does. And for the second time tonight, PERSIJA JAKARTA have to fight from behind. They've shown resilience thus far. Do they have enough in the tank now? Alua into the path of Shetyavan. Šimić wriggling away from a couple, and Šimić on the bounce to Glenn Moss. O'Donovan. Can the Jets seal the deal before half-time in extra time? Trumbus. O'Donovan. He wants the run of Redenton. Thurgate was central and it almost deflected into his path. Sofyan. Utomo. The inspirational centre-back. Now Abdurrahman almost played it to his coach in the end. Fatigue just really setting in now.
Well, he started the game like that. Abdurrahman, his first couple contributions were very shaky. He's been very good in between times.
Link-up play down the left from PERSIJA. Redenton backtracking. Bogard into the path of Kantarovski. Curls it now for Georgievski. Newcastle again just taking their time. To Tratos under pressure from Alua. Spots the open pastures in front of Georgievski, and Sofyan just stood his ground. Said, you're not going anywhere. Kantarovski. Clearance from Abdurrahman. Only as far as Newcastle's hero at this point, Nigel Bogard. And Katrumbis, he's got himself into a real mess there. And the free kick goes the other way.
Well, the heavy touch, Simic is thinking he's in there. It's a very quick recovery over those couple of yards for Katrumbis just to get himself into the position where the referee awarded the free kick.
Georgievski. And as is Asimov, sends us to half-time in extra time. And it was a good 15-minute period for the Newcastle Jets. Nigel Bogard with the goal which has put them ahead. His third in the AFC Champions League. Glenn Moss with a little bit of work to do. But it's Newcastle Jets 2, PERSIJA Jakarta 1 at half-time in extra time. Both sides will have a quick drink and they'll be heading back out there to play this final 15 minutes. Simon Yuntak has worked his backside off tonight. Ernie Merrick having a chat to the troops. Let's go down to the sideline. Good evening, Glenn Lauder.
Ben, no surprise that there are some incredibly tired legs as the referee calls them back onto the field for the second half of extra time. Neither side would have wanted this, but I'll tell you, one club who would be delighted would be Kashima Antlers, sitting in Japan watching all of this unfold. And Newcastle in particular have a domestic game on Friday night here against Melbourne City in the A-League. So they will be struggling big time as they try to fit 3 games into a week if they have to go to Japan. And Ernie Merrick does make his 4th change of the evening. Nick Cowburn will come on into the middle of the park, and that will be the end of Dimi Petrados' night. An incredible shift, but for Dimi Petrados, he would be disappointed that he hasn't had more reward in the final third.
Thank you, Glenn. Yes, he will be. Hasn't been Dimi's night or his season. And Nick Cowburn gets his chance. He hasn't had many opportunities of late. Just one match in the Australian A-League since mid-December. Plays his first match in the Asian Champions League tonight. So Steven Ugarkovic for the Newcastle Jets, back to his captain. 15 minutes left, potentially. If PERSIJA can find an equaliser, we will be going to the spot. Andy Harper, do you think the Jets have got enough in them to hold on to this advantage?
Well, you'd think so. However, one burst of energy, if they don't close the game up or kick away, either or, but do so with intensity and burn off whatever resistance Jakarta can mount, then they've shown that they've got enough wherewithal, enough quality, enough instinct to find that equaliser. So it's for the Jets to lose it from here, as it were.
Georgievski. They did seem to tread water a little bit after scoring the opener in the early part of the second half. That was Newcastle. They didn't put PERSIJA away, and they paid the price. Have they learnt their lesson? Kantarovski. Georgievski. Thurgate. Afforded some space. Redenton! Like a rocket from Redenton. And Andratani got a paw to it.
Well, he's denied the Newcastle substitute Redenton twice, excellently. And this is the better of the 2 saves. The first one was very good. That's outstanding goalkeeping from Andratani. That would have sealed it for the Jets. Hit that very sweetly, Matt Redenton.
Very similar to the save that Ollie Sale made on Thursday night for Wellington Phoenix at the same end in the A-League. Just got enough on it to tip it over the bar. So Nick Cowburn on corner duties now. That one up to Nigel Bogard across the face. Topor Stanley was there. Redenton arriving on the edge of the box. is Bogard. This one will hang up, and Andratani enough strength to overpower Topo Stanley. And he released Simon Yuntak. And on that occasion, Šimić clattering into the turf. And they haven't given up, the crowd, on Marko Šimić. They've given him boos all night.
It's been the one constant, hasn't it?
Bogard scored the second for the Jets just after the 100th minute mark. Redenton squeezed it through to Nick Cowburn, and he couldn't finish even though he was offside. Has scored the one goal this season in the A-League against Sydney FC. Offside on that occasion. Abdur Rahman. Still the one goal advantage. The Jets hold over PERSIJA JAKARTA. Šimić. And Cowburn. Back he goes to Captain Bogard. Up looks Ugarkovic. He sees Thurgate. Ryuji Utomo eyes for the ball. Clean up the scraps. Ridwan. Dinking to Lester Luhu, who scored the equaliser. Off his head for PERSIJA JAKARTA. Now Kantarovski just turned, and the space was prevalent, and the pass was poor. Simon Juntak. Was Šimić just offside? Well, according to the assistant, it won't matter though.
Well, the game opening up so much. Jakarta either leaving players forward intentionally, that combined with the fact that some players just can't get back, opening the ground completely, and it's for the Jets to tick off Jakarta now if they've got a mind to do so.
Topo Stanley, Kantarovski. Redenton. Central, and then that's the ball out wide to Thurgate. O'Donovan cuts it across. Scrambled away by PERSIJA. Simon Juntak may have played it straight into the path of the Irishman. Still O'Donovan. Not the purchase or the power. Now inside the final 10 minutes. Lester Luhu. Sofyan and Utomo. What about the legs of Ismet Sofyan? 38 years young and still going out there. Simon Juntak and Sofyan. Alua. Ryuji Utomo. Even with defeat tonight, the Indonesian champions have done their country and their city proud. His home city. Glenn Moss again, the option is long. Redenton curling it down the centre, and match just treading through a couple of scrappy moments. Sofyan. That's a pinpoint ball to Simon Juntak. The dangerous Rico Simon Juntak wins another corner.
He backed himself in to catch Daniel Georgievski unawares then. The first touch in behind, that was the attempt at least. Georgievski happily bouncing the ball out for the corner.
So defence first, the decision from Ernie Merrick. And that means Lachlan Jackson will come on, the tall defender for Roy O'Donovan. He's had another difficult night.
Yeah, but worked hard, had some good moments. Some very good moments, some ordinary moments, a lot of offsides, but you can't deny the effort he put in.
Sofyan curling and Calburn, the header away. The local lad, Nick Calburn. Sofyan again, straight onto the head of Calburn. Simon Yuntak on that occasion, his first touch, allowed the ball to balloon up. Alua. Sofyan and Simon Yuntak is able to recover. Shimmick going this way, and the shot, not the power required. You can see the frustration etched on his face. A man who scored 11 goals in his last 8 matches. Threaded through, and Abdurrahman did enough just to stop Thurgate getting on the end of it. Sofyan. Antarowski. Sit down. Redenton. The real estate is spacious. Georgievski. He joins the attack. Threads it through. The fresh legs of Nick Calburn aren't enough to hook that one back into play.
He's asked too much by Daniel Georgievski, who has acknowledged the error of his way. A chance to fix that now, perhaps, Daniel Georgievski.
He can do just that. Thurgate just labouring after the ball. Surveys the options and finds Nick Calburn, who wriggled free beautifully. And Andratani again using his legs to make the save. That's the R1. Shimmick. No way past.
Well, of course, there's still time on the break for Jakarta to do something. The Jets have got to put this away. And that is a great lead-up from Nick Calburn. Beautiful, tight control, excellent technique, and the technique just evaporates completely at the money moment.
And they find Marco Shimmick up front. Scored 9 goals in 7 matches in the AFC Cup last year. Player of the year in the President's Cup in Indonesia. Plenty of accolades for the striker. He hasn't put it all together so far tonight. Ridwan. Alua. Distributes wide to Sofyan. Tomo not on the same page, but recovered well. Simon Yuntak. Alua. He's looking to size up the shot, and in the end, neither play the pass or take the strike. No Indonesian side has made the group stage of the AFC Champions League since 2011. Is the wait about to continue? They've got a little bit over 3.5 minutes to do something about it. Redenton nods it down to Thurgate. Looks up again. Utomo again, like a metronome at the back. Calburn. And Kantarovski. And Calburn looks up and has the pace to beat Alua. Redenton hooking it too far.
Yeah, not a bad effort, or idea at least. Great little burst of speed from Nick Calburn. That was clever play again, and cutting the ball back for Redenton. And he saw the run of Katrumbas on the back stick, and it's a good idea to try and find him. important moment. The Jets players' technique abandoned.
Lockie Jackson is re-signed with the Newcastle Jets for another couple of seasons. He's learning a lot off Nigel Bogard and Nikolai Topor-Stanley. With Tomo. Abdurrahman. Into a real cul-de-sac there. 3 Jets players around him, and Nigel Bogard is the one who emerges with possession. Redemption now. Utomo putting in the big meters and bringing him down. A yellow card for the centre-back.
Well, he has been fabulous tonight, and he had Matt Redemption lined up from about 15 metres away. And then I'm going for everything with this. Completely calculated. Knew the yellow card would come. And he has had a very, very good game. Ryuji Utomo.
Made his debut for the Indonesian national side in 2017. A side who you sense is going to do some big things in the coming years now that they will actually be able to play some competitive matches. So Nick Cowburn, as you would expect, taking up some time. Hurled in. That will seal the deal. Matt Redemption, he has threatened all night and gets a goal he definitely deserves. Newcastle with their third, and they are going to head through to the third round of the AFC Champions League.
Well, delivery from set piece has not been great tonight, but this is a rare exception. Right on the button of Matt Redemption, who's forced 2 great saves from Jakarta's keeper, Andratani. But not even he can stop that bullet header. It's outstanding work from the Kiwi to make it 3-1 for Newcastle, and the result now safe.
2 goals in 3 for he. He's in fine form, Matt Redemption, in front of goal. 1 minute of additional time. And the home fans chanting and cheering, and it will be their side who will head to Japan to take on Kashima Antlers. Interestingly, the champions of the AFC Champions League in 2018. No automatic slot for the defending champions. They have to play their way into the competition. And that ball left a little bit short. And Matt Redemption's eyes almost lit up. Petrumbis is just able to keep it in. Time is expiring. They've put in a mighty shift, PERSIJA. And it's not going to be their night in the end. And it may be 10 years on, but Newcastle's strong history in the AFC Champions League continues. That's their 4th win in 8 matches in the competition. And if they make it 5 wins next week against Kashima, they will play in the group stage again. It went to extra time. That man, Nigel Bogard, made it 2-1 with his 3rd goal in the Champions League. And then it was Matt Redemption who finished it all off. The 2 coaches exchanged pleasantries. Ivan Kolev and Ernie Merrick. And PERSIJA, they go out before the group stage for the 2nd time in their Champions League history. And they'll focus back on the Indonesian League. Full time, after extra time, Newcastle Jets 3, PERSIJA Jakarta 1.
All's well that ends well, I guess, for Newcastle Jets, and they're through. And it's a happy night for the club, and well done to them. Fairly healthy crowd there for a school night as well, and a Champions League fixture, which Australian audiences aren't usually used to. It focuses on A-League and W-League football. But, yeah, well done to Newcastle Jets and PERSIJA JAKARTA. Certainly worth their place at this stage of the tournament. Mark Bosnich, Bruce Gite, initial thoughts?
Well, congratulations to Newcastle, and I really enjoyed the game. I really thought, considering the conditions, from a quality perspective, maybe you couldn't call it super, but from an entertainment perspective especially it was. And well done to Ernie Merrick and his Newcastle side. Wouldn't have been easy, you know, having to go into extra time, knowing that basically the game should have been done and dusted. They came back very strongly in extra time, but also a very special word for PERSIJA. I thought they really were excellent in that second half, deservedly got an equaliser. And I think just if they look back, they probably would realise that they ran out of puff during that extra time, and Newcastle were worthy winners. Out of season,
is that the cause for the team from Jakarta?
I think so, and I think Newcastle could have done this in the 90 minutes that they had. Took 120, but they got the job done in the end. A good test of character and resilience for them. They passed that with flying colours, you'd argue. And look, for a team out of season with the travel, playing 120 minutes was always going to be a big ask, and the Jets ran over them and took advantage of the spaces that opened up in that extra time period.
So they go on to meet Kashima next Tuesday night. That match live on Fox Sports as well. Let's have a look at the defining moments in extra time with Nigel Bogard was popping up for a rare goal, but a very, very valuable one.
Well, most definitely, Adam. And look, we saw tonight how important at the very top level when games are tight that set plays are. Corner, very good corner, one of the best corners we saw all game from Newcastle. Between the posts, it's always important to get it there. And, you know, it's a great example as well to youngsters. You don't have to hit the ball with ferocious power, as Brucey would tell you. Sometimes just a nice little stroke and good placement is as effective as anything. You come here, very good challenging, and then just here from the back of the post, a little bit of loss of concentration from the PERSIJA players, and a very good finish right in the corner from Nigel.
Yeah, it's one of the more composed finishes we saw from the evening from a Newcastle player, and yeah, that's what it means to the Newcastle faithful in that particular bay. Let's hear from the captain right now about his goal and the team's win.
Nigel, you've played in a lot of ACL matches for 3 different clubs. You know how tough it can be, but did you make it a little bit too tough for yourselves tonight?
Yeah, we knew what they were going to bring to the table. They're energetic, they're skillful, and a great opportunity for them to go through. So we knew we had to weather the storm, but yeah, we're quite wasteful, and I feel that we really need to be smarter in key areas, and conceding sloppy goals like that, it's hurt us during the league, and we've got to be better at those things.
It was 34 degrees at kick-off. You played 120 minutes. How taxing is that?
Yeah, it's tough, but at the end of the day, you're playing Champions League, and this is a great opportunity for us to be on the world stage and play in Asia and play against the best teams in Asia. So at the end of the day, adrenaline should get you through that regardless.
It is a fantastic opportunity. You go to Kashima on Tuesday, the defending champions no less. I mean, how big of a task is that, and what's the belief like in the squad?
Massive task, but the belief's there. You've got to go into every match with the belief, and we just got to tidy up in a few key areas and make sure we capitalise on some of our strengths. And yeah, like you said, last year's champion, it's going to be a tough proposition, but as a footballer, these are the ones you want to play in.
Look like you're excited already. Good luck, guys.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Yeah, you just sense the relief in Nigel Bogard there, and fair enough too. Let's have a look at the second goal as the Indonesian side. Thankfully, that was a healthy contingent as well. They had fans from all over Australia heading to Newcastle to support them, and Brucey had it, most popular team in Indonesia. But Matthew Rydenton with the goal, and he was a bit of a surprise pick as one of the visa players, wasn't he, Brucey, with Jair not selected, with Rydenton the pick from Ernie Merrick.
Yeah, surprise pick. Not sure why Ernie made that decision. Obviously, balancing Asian Champions League as well as the A-League, he'll have his reasons. But what an impact he made when he came on. Yeah. You know, he made a fantastic impact. He played very well. The goalkeeper tipped one over the bar earlier on. A great strike that he had earlier on in that half. And what a header. I mean, fantastic input. This is what you want from your subs. You know, coaches bang on about that all the time, you know, about making a positive impact when you do get injected in the game and making the most of the minutes that you get, and Rydenton certainly did that tonight.
special word for Calburn as well about the free kick. That is a quality free kick.
Yeah. Improvement required, though. Let's be honest, Bruce and Bozza next week, they've got Kashima. They're defending ACL champions. They finished in the top 3 of the J League of the last 3 seasons. Compose your thoughts about that particular topic. We'll go to Ernie Merrick first. Here he is with Glenn.
Ernie, we know how emotionless you generally are on the sideline, but a penny for the internal monologue tonight. It must have been a roller coaster.
It was. I thought we did so well in the first half without finishing it off properly, and the second half was a bit of a slog, but we came very strong in the extra time, and the credit to PERSIJA, I thought they fought really well all the way through the game. They just run out of legs more than we did.
Obviously, throughout the domestic season, as well as Champions League, final third has been a little bit of an issue. How much of a concern is that after what you saw tonight?
It's always a concern, but I think playing against better teams, they're more open. PERSIJA, I don't mean to put them down. I mean, when we play next week now in Japan against Kashima Antlers, I think you tend to take your opportunities. We had so many today we could have finished off. I'm hoping it'll only get better.
Obviously, 120 minutes wasn't ideal. You've got a game on Friday and then no doubt fly straight out. How big of a challenge is that as a coach?
We're playing the under-16s against Melbourne City on Friday.
Ernie, congratulations tonight and good luck in Kashima.
Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah, that is his next focus, next Friday night against Melbourne City, as they try and rest this almost forlorn hope of getting into the top 6 in the A-League. It's going to be made harder by the fact that they are going to Kashima next week. Let's have a little chat about that game right now.
Can't wait.
How much improvement will be required given Kashima's standing in Asian football at the moment?
Well, they will have to improve, but not by as much as probably people are thinking right now. I thought exactly like Ernie. I thought they did create a lot of chances in that first half, but I thought the point that you brought up, Adam, before the game, both to Bruce and I, about that they've had more shots than anyone on target in the A-League with one of the least successful rates in terms of shot-to-goal ratios, has really started to take effect on their mind. Some of the chances that they did fluff, the Petrados one, the cross into O'Donovan, were really, if you're there on the training ground, they both go in the back of the net. So I think they can be very proud that they came out in the second half and continued to play like they did in the first half, but just with the fact that they did score a goal. But I got to give a lot of credit, Brucey, to PERSIJA, because it would have been easy for them after they conceded that first goal to go, oh, just to let this go. But they didn't, did they?
Yeah, it would have been easy for PERSIJA to pack it in too hard away from home. Let's get back and start concentrating on the start of our season. But they didn't do that. They made it extremely difficult for the Newcastle Jets. And just on what Ernie said there about, with all due respect to PERSIJA, but we missed a lot of chances tonight. Won't be the same in Kashima. I think he's right. I think because they had so many chances, if they missed a chance, they knew they were going to get some more. No big deal. I think against Kashima, there's going to be a much sharper focus. We're only going to get a few chances. We've got to be clinical, and we need to play a better game overall if we want to get something out of that game. And I just think mentally the players are going to be...
They'll step it up.
A bit more, yeah, they'll naturally step it up. They'll be pumped up for that game and be wanting to prove a point.
Let's hear from the beaten side tonight. Very, I wouldn't say unlucky, but valiant at the very least. PERSIJA. It's Ryuji Umoto. He caught up with Glenn Lauder a short time ago.
Ryuji Umoto, obviously a really strong defensive performance tonight. How disappointed are you that you couldn't get the result?
Yeah, all the players, my team, already working so hard tonight. So, yeah, we have to admit that the Jets is a good team also, but we can fight them for 90 minutes or 90 minutes plus. So, yeah.
Obviously, it's hard given that you haven't played a domestic league game for over 2 months and very few games. How hard has it been to keep up the fitness?
Yeah, we already training so hard, like every day, like 2 months. Yeah, so it's not a problem for us. So.
And obviously, the week that you've had, Marko Simic, the couple of days that he's had, has that been a distraction at all for the team?
I don't know. We're still family. Yeah. We are a family, so no, I think we are a family here.
Well, great performance tonight, and well done, and safe journey home.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, he wasn't too keen on answering that last question, which you can understand. It's out of his hands. If you missed the news from early today, Marko Simic was actually arrested when he got off the plane and had to go to court today in order to be able to be free to play that, and he's got to stay in the country the big striker for Persija, because he's got a court date on April 9. But anyway, switch it back to what we've just seen. A reminder, next week we've got Kashmir at home to Newcastle Jets next Tuesday evening. But before that, plenty of football on the way on Fox Sports. Friday night, we'll be from Hunter Stadium, or McDonald Jones Stadium, as we'll be allowed to call it on Friday night, from 5:30 Eastern, on air with Wellington Melbourne Victory, hosting all the way through to Newcastle Jets and Melbourne City. And both matches live on Fox Sports, of course. Huge bearing on the top 6. The W League Grand Final. Sydney FC, Perth Glory. Can Sam Kerr do it again, or does Sydney FC's glut of attacking talent shine through on the day? All the drama of the W League Grand Final from Saturday afternoon, 4 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports. And Boz, there's some sad news we'll end with, because he's a legend and obviously a hero of yours.
Yes, very much so. And
Sir Gordon Banks passed away.
Yeah, so I just want to send all our condolences from everyone here at Fox Sports to Gordon's family and his fans here in Australia. Spent a lot of time with him in Munich once as well for the World Football Awards. So a very, very sad time, of course. For those who don't remember, may want to go on YouTube tonight and type up the 1970 World Cup, the game against Brazil, where they were beaten 1-0 in the group stage, and a one Pele headed a ball, and Gordon Banks pulled off what I still believe is the greatest save in history.
Greatest save ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great, one of the greatest goalkeepers ever as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
World Cup winner in 1966.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. So, yeah, send sympathies.
Sad news indeed. But Boz and Brucey, thank you for your company tonight with the football that we've seen. Cheers for that, and see you soon for some more Champions League football, no doubt. And
Thank you, Adam.
We'll see you soon for some more football, no doubt, on Fox Sports. Plenty on the way. Thanks for your company tonight. Newcastle get through. Just extra time needed to get through. 2 hours of football. That won't exactly bode well for next Friday night in the A-League, but see how they get through it. The main thing is they're still alive in the Champions League for 2019. Bye for now.